Countdown well and truly on for the Harness Jewels. Couple of months away and plenty of racing ahead for us. 4-year-old Diamond's the first one we want to have a look at. Don't forget to stay tuned with us as well, because we'll have some decent news out of Harness Racing New Zealand very shortly. Democrat Party leads this, just over Better Be Amazed, who was fantastic the other night. The first of the Jewels markets is open, so we'll have a look at that for you. Expressive Victor down there, just having a look, Michael. We talked about Paul Court a couple of weeks ago, might even been last week. He could have 5 or 6 runners in the Jewels, which would be a sensational
doing a super
start.
job. This one here has been savaged by injuries and retirements. Obviously, the Orange Agent's gone by the wayside. Clearly, Fight for Glory has too. So, it's basically, this isn't what we thought it would be probably 3 months ago. But the Miracle Mile place getter Arms of an Angel is there. First market is open for the Jewels. They should all be open, but they're not. That's another story for another day. Arms of an Angel, $1.45, fellas. This will be the first race on Jewels Day, so she'll be $1.45 to become the first horse, Craig, to win the Jewels from Australia. Very, very hard to argue that she won't.
Well, if she gets a front row draw 1 to 5, she'll be $1.25, Michael. But it's post the draw, and things can happen in the next month now. But totally agree with you. She should be winning and should be the first Australian to win the Jewels. Working down the market, I mean, Better Be Amazed, $5.50. She was good last week, but second favourite. Democrat Party, $9. Probably the value on that list, Lusty Mac. She was horrible last week. I think she'll turn it around this week, and she's good enough on a home track to be very, very competitive.
He was on the town last week, winning again, and okay, she got the perfect run, but she used her gate speed, which she'll need to do at Cambridge.
Yeah, she wouldn't be as quick out as a few that if they drew beside her, but she was good last week in a lesser graded race, Greg. She's a mare that's progressed, and she'll work her way into the top 12, but gee, it's very hard to tip against Arms of an Angel.
Look, in this race, a lot of horses aren't genuinely good Group 1 horses, and a lot of them would duck for cover and be happy to trail Arms of an Angel, as they were a couple of years ago against Adore Me. They had to reduce the size of the Australian Jewels colours because Lauren Pinella's so small. The other colours are too big for her, so they've made a mini-me set.
All right.
Arms of an Angel races next week, by the way.
4-year-old Emerald. Let's have a look at what is the situation at the moment. Of course, same name down there, 27,500 inside the top 12, but Field Marshal leads the way.
Yeah, and look, most of these horses we know really well. Again, you've lost the 2 big guns, Have Faith in Me, Huey Green. So Tactate is the horse who may come into this field along with My Kiwi Mate. My Kiwi Mate racing this week gets a chance to win his way in. Here's Tactate, Bankstown last week. It's the horse in front. Blazing gate speed, led. This is what happens when you have no passing lane. See the horse in behind? Don't get a run. Spare my days. Good horse, Tactate. If he comes across, fellas, he's a legitimate player. They'll make their decision this week after viewing the Messenger. I'm picking outside Field Marshal last week in the Taylor Mile, Greg. They didn't see too much to scare them.
No, I agree with you there. Let's move on to the Ruby, 4-year-olds, of course, and here is the leaderboard as it stands. A little bit of trepidation about this. 256,000. Mombay's up the top there.
Do you think Mombay will start? Do you think? You know them better than anybody else in the media. Do you think he'll start?
I think that if confirmation comes Speeding Spurs out, yes I do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm inclined to think they might go to the paddock. Take those top 2 out. This is a vastly different animal, Craig.
Yeah, it is. And of course, we work down to 12th, which is $21,000. Well, a horse like Great Things Happen could make that top 12.
On that, I spoke to Gavin Smith about him. I said, are you chasing a Jewels spot? He said, not really. I'll go to Addington.
I think if the opportunity was there.
Exactly. But again, he said if Mombay and Speeding Spur come out, of course I'd be keen.
Yeah, absolutely. And why wouldn't you? And there's a couple that go around this week as well. La Livra's gift goes around on the weekend, and it's about 15th or 16th at the moment. So they'll move up that leaderboard. And as you say, if the couple at the top
Other things
come
too,
out.
you take those top 2 out, and Australia and all of a sudden wants to start coming.
Yeah.
One of those top 2 in, maybe not.
High rolling spectacular. They go around the gold final.
Yeah, 2-year-olds, fillies racing this week at Menangle Saturday night. Both have indicated they're pretty keen to come to the Jewels. The winner out of those 2, High Rolling, is the favourite. Could well come along as a stablemate for Arms of an Angel.
All right, let's head stateside and see what Bit of a Legend's been up to. We head to Yonkers, and the biggest win by New Zealander that we can think of, Michael. Bit of a Legend winning the Levi Series final.
It wasn't the strongest race you'd ever see. The free-for-allers are dividing themselves up at the moment. It's early in the season, but he has been up against Wigglewit Jigglewit, so he's been good enough to race good horses. Bit of a Legend winning a $600,000 US race. Haven't seen one of those for a long time. Our export market there is alive and well now. And here's the comments from Jordan Stratton saying, no, he could be the best horse he's driven. So Not the strongest race in the world, but it's good when our horses start doing this. Border Control, his old mate from the Jewels all those years ago, has gone up there as well. They might go head to head at some stage, but this can only be good for the industry, fellas, and he won't be the last good horse sold up there.
Yeah, and I did speak to Peter Larkin, who sold this horse up there. He said some people might not realise, but it costs $5,000 a month to have a horse trained up there, so it's not cheap at all, and $23,000 to send the horse up there. So whilst he's won a lot of money, there's a lot of money to get him up there.
Texas can run third as well. So, I mean, the market there.
They can win a stack of money there. Yesterday at Yonkers, rubbish race, Fleming M1. Remember Fleming M? Rochester Trade?
Yeah.
It's won 930 grand in the States.
Amazing.
That's American dollars.
That's pretty amazing, isn't it? All right, we mentioned that we have some big news coming out of Harness headquarters. Let's hear what Edward Rennell released to us today. Edward, there's always challenges in the industry, and the board have recently met and decided to come up with a strategy to counter some of those.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. Last week the board had a 2-day meeting where the focus for one whole day was around funding and looking at initiatives to try and sustain the industry and sort of increase participation. So, there are some, I think, exciting initiatives coming out of that.
All right, we'll get to those in a moment. The first thing that stands out in the press release is the increase in minimum stake.
Yeah, that's, I think, fundamental, Greg. It's the decision's been made that from the start of next season, the minimum stake level will increase from 5,000 to 6,000. I think last year there were about 230 races run under 6,000. So from next season, we've adjusted the funding policy to provide the clubs with the support to ensure that minimum level increases. And it's all about trying to maintain returns for as wide a group of owners as possible. And it costs the same whether you have a horse at the lower end of the industry as it does at the top end. So we need to try and maintain or increase returns at the lower level where we can.
All right, so part of that is the next basis of this initiative, and that's around a guaranteed payment for all starters.
Yeah, as part of the funding policy, Greg, we're looking to introduce a requirement that clubs will have to pay at least 2% to all starters. Now, some clubs already do that. Every club pays all starters at the moment a fee that compensates for the driving fee. We're looking to have it such that if they pay 2%, there will be a cheque sent to every owner after every race meeting. So that's the intention, so that we'll be requiring clubs to have that at least 2% of the stake must be paid to all starters.
Has there been any reaction to that from the likes of Addington, who do currently pay that? Is it somewhat levelling that playing field out in terms of those other clubs? Have they reacted in any way to this?
I think Addington will have some concern that it may have a negative impact on them. We're looking at it, it's working very well there. Let's try and apply it, the same principle applies to all clubs. And I'm certain with some of the initiatives Addington have got in play that they will, it won't be too big an issue and that they will continue to go ahead. And
obviously Auckland, the other club, who did announce that their plans are to make a payment to not only the owners but also the trainers. I suppose there's a bit of work to be done and just how that's all going to fall into place now.
Yeah, we've just got to work through the details with Auckland in terms of how that will apply, but I think they are paying more than 2% now to the owners, which I think is great, and I think some of the other initiatives hopefully will increase starters, and field size is crucial. The higher our field size, the higher our turnover, so we need to try and maintain that participation, because if we don't have the horses competing, there's no one there for the better ones to win against. So the aim is to try and have a different distribution of the stakes across a wider pool, and have a system where basically it's like an appearance money. If you start, you will receive a fee.
Edward, in addition to that, you're also guaranteeing a $50 payment to all those non-stake bearing place getters as well.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. So in races under 20,000, we will also pay an additional $50 to every non-place runner from 5th onwards. So that will mean, say, at the minimum level in a $6,000 race, the all starters will get $170. Now, out of that you have to take the driving fee, but it will still mean that there is a fee being paid to every owner after every race. So in a $10,000 race, a horse will get $250 less the driver's fee. So I think what we're trying to do is get that greater distribution to a wider pool and support the grassroots of the industry. So that was the feedback the board was getting, and they've tried to deliver a policy that accommodates that.
Yep, well it sounds like it will, and I suppose once those details are worked through, you'll give us a more detailed plan, I suppose, for want of a better term, and therefore people will understand it better.
Yeah, well, obviously we have to work through the issues with the clubs in terms of the funding. We've done the sums from the total that we're getting from the Racing Board. We're projecting to be the same as last year. So if there's any additional funding that's available, that would be a good problem to have. But we believe that what we're proposing is affordable under the total that we're receiving.
Where are things at in terms of turnovers this year? And give us a broad overview, I suppose, without being specific. How are we tracking?
Yeah, reasonable. Our average turnover per race is, I think it's up about 2%, but our total turnover's down about 2% because we've had less races. So we're doing not bad in that respect, but let's be realistic, we want to do better. So we see trying to increase the field size and increase the participation is crucial to that, and hopefully fuller fields next season, our average turnover per race should climb. The other thing we are seeing is the ongoing transference to fixed odds, which is really driven by punter demand.
So great to get that information out of Harness headquarters for the show tonight. Let's have a look at the key points here, Michael. $5,000 to $6,000. Get a comment on that from Craig very shortly. This is what Addington have been doing for a wee while, and to a lesser extent Auckland, with 2% of every program stake be paid to all starters, and this additional payment of $50. So what do you make of this?
Basically, if you're taking a horse to the races, you're getting paid some money, and that's the key problem. The battlers are the ones who need the money the most. If you're winning a race, I don't think you care too much about the stake because you've won something. So I think it's good overall. Interested to see what the clubs think about it.
Here's the breakdown for you, Michael. Basically, this is
What's
what
interesting for me is this: if we get to $15,000, is this other money appearance money or is it part of the stake? And that's crucial because $15,000 EMO threshold in Australia. If you're winning races which aren't actually worth $15,000 but copping a $15,000 penalty, I don't think that's right.
I think that's part of what Edward was saying. There's a little bit to work through there. Craig, your reaction?
Well, I think putting them up from $5,000 to $6,000 is a band-aid, to be honest. I mean, I raced a horse back in the 90s. We were racing for $6,000 then, and 25 years later, we're still racing for the same. But hey, they're trying something. They're increasing some prize money, which is good. But I think we need to get a reaction from the clubs, and we'll talk to them, and we'll talk again next Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we've got a little bit more time to do that. It's been a busy week last week. What about this week? Really pretty full on, isn't it? Forbury Park, $25,000 pick six there. A couple of races at Blenheim both Friday and Sunday, and two key races at Addington Race. We'll have a look at it in a moment. The Garrard Size Stakes heat and the Neville Fillies Series heat. Their final heats, of course, for those. Can-Am Row Cup, massive night. 4 Group 1s, $40,000 pick six. Ashburton on Saturday, an 11 race program there. Those two races I mentioned before at Blenheim, and the Thames Club will be at Alexandra Park with a $25,000 pick six on Sunday. Best bets of the week for us. 3 from 3 last week. If you moulded them up, not too sure what it would come out at, Craig, but it would have been all right. You're with This Girl's on Fire.
And you could have taken that multi because they opened 6 o'clock on Thursday night and all those 3 were available then. This Girl's on Fire for me at Forbury. Michael La Revere backing up hopefully from a win last week.
Bolted in last week, didn't it?
Absolutely. And Greg, you were
Sunny Ruby off the 40 metres, begins very quickly, very good at chasing them, and obviously has the high speed to get over the top. Speaking of multis, this is a multi that was landed last week. Nice playing through the Greyhounds, Michael.
Who are these people?
I don't know, but
Seriously?
it's a good punt.
I like it. It's nice, but wow. That's cool.
Combining the
It's good
two
going,
codes.
Yep, good work there.
Have you ever taken a multi-greyhound into a harness horse?
No, I'd love to claim that, Michael.
I'm
but
going to do that this week.
No, I tell you what, I still have an opinion on why we continue to have clashes between Addington and Auckland on feature premier nights. Look at Mark Purden this week, stays in Christchurch, and has 7 in a Group 1 race, but can't be there. He's got to be at Addington for Dream About Me.
So you reckon there should be no premier clashes?
Oh, the two major venues. Why not have Cambridge when it's Addington and Forbury when it's...
Well, why not Addington,
That's
exactly,
too
why
logical.
Addington racing Thursday night and Forbury on Friday?
All right, well, that's another discussion point for another day. Thank you, boys.
Yeah, Thursday Under Lights will highlight a couple of those trials, more the better, and a couple of others. Well, look forward to seeing you on Friday night, Greg.
Yep, good evening, Michael.
Yeah, thanks fellas, and I hope everybody enjoys Road Cup night.
Enjoy your harness racing week ahead.